Hi, my name is Janie. I will be informing you about Dibels and what it stands for and why it's implemented in school systems around the United States. First, what does Dibbles stand for? It is the Dynamic Investigators of Early Literacy Skills. And although you may be unfamiliar with the word Dibbles, you probably have seen it in the classroom and um, have also maybe even done it in a lesson in this class. So, um, sorry, according to the University of Oregon, DIBELS is an early literacy screening set of tests to determine students who will be at risk of literacy problems. It is a series of short texts given to children in kindergarten through grade 5 to monitor and screen their progress in learning some of the necessary skills to become successful. What's the big idea? Well, there are 6 different subsets that are letter naming fluency, phonemics, segmentation fluency, oral reading fluency, and nonsense word fluency. And all 6 subsets are aligned with the 5 big ideas in reading. According to the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development, Dibbles' 8th edition offers 6 subsets designed to assess component skills. Um, the first one, I'll go in a little bit more in detail about the letter naming fluency. So, this is a test that is designed um, to see if students are able to identify uppercase and lowercase letters. And this is based on the achievement of Marston and Magnuson in 1988. Students will be presented with a page of 100 uppercase and lowercase letters, arranged in random order, and asked how many letters they can name. The examiner will name the letter if the student indicates they do not know. The examiner marks how many letters the student gets correct. There are no progress monitoring forms because this is solely a risk indicator. The next one is phonemics segmentation fluency. So this is the same sort of test that is individually assessed by an assessor, and it is measuring the phonological awareness, and it's a good indicator for reading achievement, and is administered to students at the beginning of kindergarten through first grade. This test assesses the ability to fluently segment 2 to 6 letter words, such as if it was SAT, they were able to do at. The student would be able to say all of the sounds. They're not really looking for blending as much at this point, but they are looking if they are able to sound out all of the sounds in the word. Then we have nonsense word fluency. Nonsense word fluency is also an individual administered test, which is measured on the alphabetical principle, meaning prior vocabulary and sight words cannot play a role. This test is designed to see if students can blend sounds and words that they will encounter that they do not know. This way, students can use the skills they have learned to sound out unfamiliar words. Some of these words could be as sig, ral, etc. The next one is word reading fluency. And this assessment involves reading real words out of context. It's inspired by Alonso and Tyndall of 2007. This assessment is individually administered, measuring the accuracy and fluency in reading sight words. These words include was, of, as well as common words, as well as words that are decodable like in, we, or no. Students only get credit for the blended words, and the individual sounds do not count. So this is it's different from the phonemic segmentation, where it's just looking for the sounds. This one is actually looking for the students to be blending the words. The next one is oral reading fluency. And in this one, students, it assesses the student's ability to read words in connected text. The student reads a passage aloud for 1 minute. Words that they omit or are substituted or hesitations for longer than 3 seconds are scored as inaccurate. The final score and the number of words read correctly within 1 minute is what they get tested on. And there are 20 different alternative program monitoring forms for each grade level that they're testing in. And then lastly, of these 6 subtexts, there is the maze, which is a standardized group administered measuring reading comprehension. Maze is administered to students at the beginning of 2nd grade through the end of 8th grade. The student reads a passage which has every 7th word taken out and replaced with 3 options. The student has to decide which word to read, and in the lower grades, the first and last sentence are left intact and there's not a word taken out of them. The score is half the number of over errors subtracted from the number of maze words selected correctly within 3 minutes. Maze is offered through other subsets because it is not recommended to be tested more than monthly. They also have, which most of you or some of you may have seen this, Amplify if you've been in different grade levels. Dibels is a great analytical tool that uses assessments we have talked about to create an individual learning plan for students through Amplify. Will you see Dibels in every school? The short answer is no. There have been controversy over Dibels, and some educators find Dibels focuses on fluency rather than comprehension. Some schools refuse to use Dibels in their school district. According to an article from Education Week, the assessment tool developed by researchers at the University of Oregon is now approved to use under federal Reading First program in 45 states to monitor students' progress on reading fluency and other measures. Some call into question whether those states were unfairly persuaded. This article states that a report by the U.S. Department of Education Inspector General released in March suggested that the federal contractor did not appropriately screen consultants, some who had financial ties to Dibels or for conflicts of interest. In addition, the Inspector General found some evidence that officials in several states have been directed to adopt Dibels rather than the assessments they'd originally selected for the Reading First in schools. As educators, we have to question the validity of these assessments every day in our classroom, which calls into question the validity of these tests for our students. Some educators are not sold on how reliable this information is being told to them because of the controversy surrounding this type of assessment. My personal belief, from all the research I gathered, I think that Dibels is the bare bones of assessments. I believe that these tests exist for misconceptions and fluency, not comprehension. This test is supposed to guide educators to analyze students, see what students might be struggling with. Is it a perfect test to predict comprehension? No, but I believe that it is a test. It's a good test. It's a good way to test some of the skills students need to succeed in comprehending material. So what my guiding question for you guys, do you think that Dibels is a good way to assess students, or do you think that it's been unfairly guided for different school districts to follow this sort of system without actually having the research and evidence that is needed to be implemented for all of these states. Thank you.